Hello YouTube! I'm here with Shaun Attwood and we're going to talk about the differences between UK and American prisons. So we've talked a little bit already about both of our experiences. As far as I can tell, some of the differences are like culturally, like the difference between the way prisoners act. We were just talking about segregation as well, how...
Yeah, it's all racial division in America.
Yeah, and in the UK it seems, certainly to me, it seemed like it was more geographically based, so all the guys from Manchester stay together, all the guys from London would stay together, that kind of thing. But you said recently it seems like the UK might be going down the same route as...
Yeah, it's all in London, it's Bloods, Crips, you know, all the gang culture is crossing over from America just 5 to 10 years behind.
Yeah, so Blood Crips, what exactly is that?
Well, Bloods is, they were red, and Crips, they were blue.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's two kind of gang groups, and
Yeah.
they're just associated with colours.
Exactly.
I see, right. I mean, the other obvious difference, I guess, is like the violence levels. It's hard to compare, I guess, but you were in, Super Max, and then...
Every different security level I was in at one point or other.
Right.
Yeah.
And so Max and then Medium you were in as well?
I was in Super Maximum Security, Medium Security and Minimum Security.
So in Medium, did you still see quite a level of violence? Was there any like...
Yeah, I would say the most violence is in the lower security levels.
Oh, really? Wow.
Because it's a bigger population, it's a younger population, and they're considered the gladiator schools. The youngsters are just trying to prove themselves.
Yeah.
In the higher echelon, it's like serious hardcore offenders. If there's a beef, it's going to be, they might kill each other, but it doesn't happen all that often.
Right, I see. Yeah, that sounds somewhat similar. Like the levels of violence seem to change between the two. But YOs in the UK were always infamous for scrapping just all the time. They were the wings and the areas that fought all the time. Like Forest Bank was a Young Offenders Institute as well as a rehabilitation facility.
Yeah.
So they had like 2 or 3 YO wings, at least when I was there. I think I think it's all mixed. They've mixed them all together now, as well as a lot of UK prisons have become mixed. The YO wings were the wings to avoid because everyone was just trying to prove himself.
Yeah.
All full of energy and they had nothing to engage in, you know.
Yeah.
So that sounds kind of similar, but the fights that people get in the prisons that I was in weren't. I wouldn't say that they were all life-threatening. Some were life-threatening, but for the most part, it just seemed like actual fighting, and then people would walk away from it.
Yeah, there's a routine kind of thing where people have a fight to squash a beef, and then 5 minutes later they're smoking together in a cell with friends. And it's just to clear the air. That's a routine thing about prison.
Really?
Yeah.
That happened
That happened a lot. I mean, there was people in there who wanted to kill each other, people biting each other's fingers and ears off and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hardcore stuff, but in generally, 2 guys got a problem, get in the cell under the stairs where the guards can't see it, fight it out, beef is squashed, life goes on, that's how it works.
Yeah.
And fights just break out all the time. You could be walking along and someone says, "What are you looking at?" And then you said, "I wasn't looking at nothing." You calling me nothing. Bang, bang, bang. It's just that easy because it's hyper tension in there.
Yeah, of course. Whatever you can respond with will result in a fight.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And we were just talking about I'd probably say it was one of the worst parts of prison, the strip searching.
Oh, strip searches, yeah.
Strip searching it's really demeaning, isn't it? It's so bad just because of you have to just get naked and someone else just looks at your junk, and it's really not nice.
Yeah, it's part of the ritual dehumanisation of people is the strip searches.
Yeah, you had to do a lot more than me though, didn't you?
In America, when you're busted, as soon as you go in, you got to get completely naked. Guard looks. He stood a few feet in front of you. He looks in your ears, looks in your mouth, looks in your armpits. You got to raise your man parts, turn around, bend over, spread your buttocks wide open, and cough. And they're looking right at your backside to see if you smuggled anything in. Now the guys who were smuggling the drugs, because you searched after every visit, They pride themselves on how many packages they can store inside themselves without them peeking out during the strip searches. They're called mules, and they get paid a percent of what they bring in. And
so the more they can get in, the money.
The more they can store inside themselves, the more they get paid.
What's the most that you've heard of?
Okay, it's measured in America. A 10p piece is the size of the 10p piece is called a quarter in America. It's a coin called a quarter.
Yeah.
And there's a thing called a roll of quarters.
Yeah.
Which is about so big.
Yeah.
And these guys, the drugs will be wrapped in that size, and some of these guys can get 4 or 5 quarter rolls in their anal cavity.
Quite a lot of storage facility over there.
Quite a lot of storage space in there. Yeah.
Wow, that's insane. I heard about a guy who managed to smuggle in 2 small, like old Nokia style phones.
Oh yeah, phones.
About this big.
Yeah.
And he managed to smuggle in 2 of those phones and a charger.
And a charger, yeah.
And a charger. He was great. We can't forget the charger. We've popped that in there as well.
Yeah.
But I just think like the charger. Ow.
Yeah.
It must have been wrapped in a bag or something.
Ouch.
But
no, you can run a drug business from prison then if you've got a phone smuggled in, so they go for a massive premium.
Yeah. Phones went for like up to a grand in prisons that I was in. And when you buy them on the street, it's about 10 or 15 quid, But like you said, if you can have that contact with the outside world without the screws monitoring it, the prison officers monitoring it, then you can do a lot. Because it's for like communicating with their codies as well.
Communicating with co-defendants, getting witnesses killed, all that kind of stuff. That's what they use the phone for. Yeah.
But so for strip searching in the UK, it was. For some reason, we always had one piece of clothing on it. Like you could take all the top half off.
Yeah.
That's fine. Then when you take off all the bottom half, you had to have a t-shirt on at the very minimum.
Right.
As if that.
So you weren't completely naked.
No.
Okay.
You're you're wearing a t-shirt with everything else off.
Right.
So you're effectively
supposed to soften the blow or something.
I don't know. Apparently, it's like you don't feel as vulnerable when you've got a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
But so they do that. They're very similar. You have to kind of shift your junk around for them to check it.
Yeah.
And then bend over. Although sometimes they did it where you squat down to the floor.
Yeah.
And then they look just at your arsehole to make sure nothing's poking.
And were you in a room on your own, or did they got a group of guys doing it at the same time in a room?
No, it was by yourself. At least every time I was searched, it was just me and a screw. Sorry.
Yeah.
Although sometimes one of the times when I just got to a prison, the Cat C one, it was just in an office.
Right.
There wasn't anywhere to go, like a booth or anything.
Yeah.
It was just in an office, and there was a couple other screws around.
Yeah.
Which was a strange one because it was just out in the open and stuff. And they're like, okay, go ahead, and I'm like, okay. But it's usually just one-on-one kind of thing.
Yeah, it was usually one-on-one where I was at, but sometimes like if they were moving a lot of prisoners somewhere, we'd get like 20 guys in a room, all have to line up, guard would go down the row, and we'd all be lined up with our butt cheeks spread open, bent over, and they'd go down the row, and then they'd like put your clothes back on.
Do they like shine a torch or something?
Yeah, they can shine the torch up there as well, yeah, just to see if anything's peeking out.
Wow, it's crazy. I mean,
did you have to have your foreskin searched as well?
No, at no point did I have to do that. You got that. You got the star treatment, didn't you?
The first time a guard said to me, "Pull your foreskin back," I thought he was joking. I said, "Are you serious? Come on now." And he said, "There could be drugs in there. People hide drugs in there." And that was it then. It was extremely uncomfortable pulling my foreskin back and having a guard just examine it and lift your penis up. And then over time you just get completely used to it.
Yeah, you get desensitized.
Desensitized.
Yeah. I noticed that as well. Like the first time it almost shook me up a little bit because I'm like, what? You have to do this? And like, yeah, okay. And the guy was like pushing me a little bit to check on my ass. I was just like, this is. I was just like this isn't right. This is a bit disgusting and a bit shocked,
Yeah.
Then after a couple of times, it was like, okay, this is what happens. Once I knew everything that would happen in the strip search, I wasn't too afraid of it.
Uncertainty's gone.
Exactly. Yeah. But that wasn't. Luckily, I didn't have the foreskin search. I remember thinking when there was a guy looking at my ass doing a strip search. And I was just there, and I was thinking, I can't believe that this is your job. That you have to just
your arse out.
look at 100 arseholes a day, and there's someone who gets paid to do that all the time.
Yeah.
And I said to him, like, well, it's better you than me doing that kind of job or something. And he said, well, it's less than pleasurable for me as well. You know, like
that's the thing as well.
He wasn't enjoying it, kind of thing. You know,
if a guard doesn't enjoy that kind of thing, and perhaps some guards did, I suspect there was a few that did.
I think so. Yeah.
If a guard doesn't, that's got to be traumatic for the guard as well.
Yeah.
From guard's perspective, to see that many private parts in one lifetime is way too many.
You can't forget all of that once you've seen it.
No,
you can't unsee it.
Etched, wouldn't it, on the subconscious?
Yeah, definitely. What other differences can we think of? The food.
Food
Was another big difference.
Rotten, mouldy stuff that was just being thrown away by businesses.
Was that in every prison as well?
You know what? Once we got out of the remand jail, the food was better than in. Once we got into the prison system, the Arizona Department of Corrections, it was slightly better. I'm not saying it was gourmet. But I did start to gain my weight back then.
Okay.
Yeah, we had like porridge in the morning and toast. And there was actually 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was uneatable, but other times I could get stuck in.
Yeah. There was the odd meal, like you said about the Red Death.
Yeah, the remand jail.
There was the occasional meal that was infamous for being like, make sure you avoid that at all costs. Like the rice pudding, for example. I really like rice pudding. So this was really difficult for me, but I got rice pudding once. It's a brilliant rice pudding.
Yeah.
I was eating it, and one of the cellmates was like, what the fuck are you doing eating that?
Yeah.
Why, what's wrong with it? He went, you don't want to know what they put in that.
Yeah.
So then I had to bin it and then never eat rice pudding again. And I really like rice pudding. I mean, the one mouthful that I did have of it was just like water and milk anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the best rice pudding, but yeah, I was devastated by that. Yeah, I heard rumours that they were putting in hormones into the food to try and control the prison population.
Yeah.
This is complete conspiracy stuff. I have no evidence for it whatsoever. But all of the prisoners in the prisons are in believed that they were putting in hormones to control prisoners' tempers, to try and keep them a bit like less crazy.
It's quite possible. The Russians did that and the Nazis did that. They actually did it with fluoride in the water.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Keep your teeth
to try and keep them, the IQ reduced and to keep them down so they wouldn't be aggressive.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
To make them more passive.
Exactly. Yeah. Compliant. Yeah.
That's the word.
What about was an underground economy in food? Because some of the prisoners wouldn't even go and eat the prison food. But what they would do is they would buy stuff from the inmate store, and the Mexicans in particular, they'd have all these like cookouts and stuff where they'd cook these things themselves. Oh, yeah. Some ingredients would be stolen from the kitchen, and they'd make like burritos and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was a tiny bit of that, but for the most part it was, I think people were relatively happy with the food.
Right.
But there was like no desserty kind of things, like sweet things.
Yeah.
So there was loads of ingenuity when it comes to like baking in prison. Like for banoffee pie.
Yeah.
I saw people making banoffee pies in prison, and they'd save up like different bits of toffee and little things here and there, and then eventually you'd have enough of like a couple months of saving to make this. And because there's a lack of heat control, there's nothing to heat things.
Yeah.
You have to think of other ways of doing it, or make something that doesn't require heat.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that. If someone told me about it, I'm like, I can't believe you made a banoffee pie. That's incredible.
Yeah. The ingenuity of prisoners just impressed me constantly.
Yeah, it really impressed me.
Yeah. They never give the guys anything positive to put their energy into. It's so sad.
Yeah, that's true.
What about rec then? Did you get much rec?
It was, besides like eating time, we had 2 hours a day at Forest Bank.
And what did you get access to on the rec area?
It was like we could go into the wing, and then there'd be a few times when other things would be happening.
This is all indoors then?
Yeah, all indoors. Okay. And you'd get, say, I think it was 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. On weekends you could go out to the yard, just outside area, tarmac area, surrounded by fences and walls. And then at night, just after you'd had your tea, you had 2 hours where you're just on the wing and could do stuff.
Yeah.
And occasionally there'd be things like poetry classes, like I went to them, which I really liked.
That's good.
Yeah, really, really good. They were, and they got professional poets as well to come in.
Really?
And talk with us, which is cool.
And that was where you learned about the Cursed Trust.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Cursed Trust were awesome for that, and I entered a few poetry competitions.
Excellent.
And stuff. Yeah. And then there'd be like library times. They'll show at the front of the wing like library now, so anyone who wants to go to the library go and line up.
Yeah.
But then on the actual wing there was there was pool tables. And there was a couple tennis tables, I think, like table tennis tables.
Yeah.
And maybe a foosball table. I think there was a foosball table. I can't quite remember. But that was it. It was just, you had access to the wing, everyone around the wing, and a bit of pool and stuff. People would just sit playing poker, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be mainly people just sat around the wing or at the doors. To the pads, just chatting with people and stuff. That was the main amount of recce.
Sounds like you got access to a bit more stuff than from what in America.
Yeah.
They wouldn't allow anything that you could get your hands on that you could weaponise. Like they had weights in the US system, and there was a big race riot in the 90s, and people got smashing skulls in, and guards' heads got smashed in, and prisoners got smashed in. They brought the National Guard in.
Yeah.
So now it's all isometric exercise bars, pull-ups, dips, that kind of stuff.
Right.
And the only other thing with the phones, really, but the cords are so short, so you can't hang yourself on them. Is that the same in the UK?
They weren't crazy. They weren't like really long, but they were probably about this long.
Yeah.
You couldn't get far from the phone. It probably about that long, and then you'd be stuck.
And the phone thing's a racket. If we made a local call, 5 minutes, that person we called would be charged about $10.
Wow.
What about in the UK? How much do the phone calls cost?
It was insane. It was about 50p a minute, I want to say, something like that. So about 5 times the normal rate.
Yeah.
5 to 10 times the normal.
Pure gouging.
Yeah, it was really, really expensive. I mean, I bought virtually nothing. I just buy maybe a bit of muesli or oats and UHT milk and like your toiletries kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'd not have anything else. I wouldn't be buying elaborate things or smoking and stuff. So
how much a week were you allowed to spend then? Is there a limit on it here?
There is a limit. I think it's something like 30 quid or maybe 30 or 40 quid, something like that a week.
Yeah, I think it's around $20-30.
Yeah.
Was that as well?
Yeah.
So get your hygiene and toothpaste and stuff.
And then what were the wages like there as well? Because
10 to 50 cents an hour.
Oh, it was hourly.
In the prison system, yeah. In the remand jail there wasn't any, but in the prison system, 10 to 50 cents an hour.
Wow. I'm trying to figure out that's lower or higher. It's about the same.
That's like 7 pence an hour up to about 30 pence an hour.
Because like I was working full time in a greenhouse, and I was on 7 quid a week.
Okay.
But then that went up incrementally a little bit until I was on about 11 or something.
Right.
And then that other job that I applied for, DHL, you could earn up to 30 quid a week.
Right.
That was like the most anyone could earn now, really.
So that was coveted.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And then what, can prisoners buy tobacco as well and smokes? Because in America we can't now.
Oh, really?
It was stopped, yeah.
Oh, wow, but then that'll force people to smuggle it in.
So they were smuggling it in a remand jail.
Yeah. So that was enforced when you were there as well?
It was in the remand jail. It was enforced. In the prison system, it was starting to be common.
Right. Yeah.
They changed it to outdoor areas only, and they were starting to phase it out.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. As far as I could tell, about 75% of the prison population smoked
inside the prison. So what about all the non-smokers? Are they just breathing smoke all day?
Yeah. Yeah. And what sometimes happens is that if people would go into a cell with someone who smoked, they'd then like kind of be forced to start smoking because it's like, well, you get tobacco on yours.
Yeah.
They kind of be pushed into it a little bit.
Right.
So a lot of people like didn't smoke before prison and started smoking inside, and I did the reverse and quit. Someone said to me that it will be the hardest thing that you'll ever do. This is the worst place to quit smoking.
Yeah.
I just was annoyed and spiteful, so I was like, screw you, I'll do it anyway then. But I think is it any kind of addiction, if you've got the willpower to do it and you've got that kind of dead set mentality, then you'll stop, you know.
So what about noise? Where I was at, right, the TVs, you could buy what's called a Clear clear plastic, so you can see all the wires in it, so you can't hide anything in it. And the stereos as well, little Walkman stereos, clear tech. But everything comes with a headphone, so there's no noise whatsoever from stereos or TVs.
Oh, that's very considerate. There was none of that in the UK.
Really?
It was just a normal TV, like a TFT, normal old school boxes, and to be a remote, and people just watch whatever. If you didn't like it, then.
And was there like a 10-10 rule in prison where I was at, where people, if you make noise after 10, you're going to get smashed when the doors open in the morning.
There was
so
a bit
did people have the TVs going on in the night, or was the noise at night?
Sometimes. What tended to happen was, I don't know what it was like for communication at night time, but the wings were so echoey in a lot of hours, just all metal and concrete, that people would shout through or whiz lines across the cells to try and
fishing lines.
So people would still be communicating a little bit. So if someone was being really, really noisy, you'd start hearing everyone perk up and go, "Shut the fuck up!" and smash at it. And then more shouting, and then eventually it dies down.
It was the cell warriors as well, where like two people who threaten each other, and then when the cells open, no one will do anything about it.
That's exactly what they called it in the UK, or cell warriors.
Cell warriors?
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Where it'd be people shouting out of a window, "I'm gonna fucking smash it." So split shouting back, everyone would be laughing.
Right.
Nothing would happen, and it's kind of like a joke or people just dicking around. But the noise, it was. I don't know about you, but the first thing in the morning, I certainly noticed a lot of hacking up of phlegm.
Hacking up phlegm, toilets flushing, people pissing, people crapping, people farting,
coughing.
That's the normal thing when you're getting up.
Just a chorus of everyone like all this unhealthy sounds coming constantly. That was exactly the same.
So what about slang then? Was there words you didn't understand in there you had to pick up? Like what?
God, there's so many. I'm trying to think of. A screw was the obvious one that I first got. Pad.
Screw, which means prison guard.
Pad, which I didn't know.
What's pad?
Just your cell.
Oh, your cell is your pad.
So you get your pad. But as I first went onto the prison wing, when I first went into prison, the guard said, "Oh, get in that pad there." Oh no, he said, "Get to your pad." And I didn't know what he meant, so I was like, "What? What are you talking about?" And all the other guys were like walking away, like knowing what to do, and I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean a pad?" He's like, "Get your fucking cell." And I was like, "Oh right, why didn't you just say that?"
You're clueless when you first go in.
Yeah, so green.
Because the guy was charge checking me when I went in, and they'd ask me, "Are you a chomo?" Like, "Chomo? What? That's a child molester?" I just didn't know what they were talking about. I don't know what I'm in there for, I was saying.
Yeah.
But in the end, I had to show my charge because they're about to smash the hell out of me.
I had to do the same thing as well. People accuse you of things, and you're like, "I've got my charge sheet handy just to go, there you go, that's what I'm in for, I can prove it."
Nearly every other sentence where I was had dog in it, and that's like mate in America. "What up, dog?
Oh, really?
What's going on, dog?" And then they shake your hands by bumping fist. Because there's so much disease in there.
Oh, they don't
want to touch your hand. That's where that comes from.
Oh my god. It's a more hygienic greeting.
Just, "What up, dog?"
I kind of like it. For that reason there, I'm just going to be constantly people way more hygienic.
But all the words like celly, I didn't know what a celly was, cellmate.
Oh right,
It's like learning a foreign language when you first go in, isn't it?
Completely. It was so much lingo and in such thick dialects as well. That you have to get around that part of it and then understand what they're talking about.
I didn't know what the hole meant, what lockdown meant.
The hole is similar.
What the hole was that?
They call it. There's another word for it here as well. In the block.
The block.
And
that's a prison within a prison where you go if you broke the rules.
Solitary confinement. Solitary confinement. Yeah, that was a
solitary confinement. In the US, most of the solitaries now are double bunked because it's the overcrowding.
That's hardly solitary.
It's hardly solitary. Unless you were someone who's considered so extremely dangerous, you would try and kill another prisoner or guard or attack them. Those guys, they would put them in plexiglass like cells on their own, but then they would weaponize the excrement.
What? Just get buckets of it and stuff?
No. Typically, for example, they were very strategic about how they weaponized their crap. So they would get a meal, get a chicken bone, and then they would put the crap on the chicken bone. They'd make a blowpipe, and then when you were going past the cell, blow dart you the blood, then the shit would get into your bloodstream, and the blood would transport it around your body, and it would mess your immune system up. A lot of the guys with hepatitis C, and if they seriously wanted to mess your immune system up, they would leave the crap with pee for several days until it got mouldy, and then it would have really full of bacteria, and then they'd get you. Yeah, there were guys in there like who would make crap bazookas out of shampoo bottles and stuff, and they'd squeeze the shampoo bottle and they'd have like a firing tube, and it just just all over you.
That's nasty. I saw a few shit protests and.
Did you?
Yeah, and
anyone who smeared up.
No, I didn't see anyone smeared up.
The cells smeared up.
Yeah.
Cells smeared up. Yeah. Mentally ill people do that as well.
Yeah. There's people doing that a couple times, and I was like, that is so fucking insane.
Yeah.
But there was someone who did it once, and I found out later that this was because he really liked the screw.
Yeah.
It was a female screw, quite a good looking girl as well. And because he liked her, he saved up a bucket of his shit for about 2 weeks. And then when he was on the landing, and she was walking underneath, and he dumped it all over her, as if she'd go, "I love you." How mad is that?
He would have got seriously beat down by the guards, because anything to do with female guards, the male guards are really protective.
That was obvious.
That's the same where you was at.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, don't mess with female guard. You're gonna get properly smashed by the guards.
Yeah, and she was, to her testament, she was back in work the next day.
Whoa, that's hardcore, isn't it?
I was really impressed. I was like, I can't believe that. I would not be going in for months after that.
Was there ever any romance between prisoners and guards?
I heard lots of rumours about stuff.
Yeah.
I heard a million rumours about people fucking some guards and other things happening. But nothing that I saw happen, or I never saw like upfront evidence, if you know what I mean. Just a bit of bravado and people saying things and stuff. Yeah. There was a lot of. There must have been stuff going on. Just based on the environment that we were in, it seemed like it was a place that stuff could happen, because there'd be one screw at night. I'm not sure how it was for you. There'd be one screw at night patrolling up and down, keys jangling. Yeah. And there was a few screws at night that worked at night on our wing. And people would say rumours about them being hussies and hoes and all sorts of stuff, and they would be up for it. So there'd just be loads of blokes at night, I think, just kind of waiting and
hoping.
Yeah, just waiting in line. So when they open, there was a little metal flap on the doors to look in, and then like a pane of plastic or something. Yeah. And they'd look through, and then blokes, I think, would just be going, "Hey, do you want some of this, baby?" And sometimes I think it did happen, but no, nothing as far as I could tell really solid.
Because there was a young prisoner where I was at, got in a relationship with a female guard, and I would see him at night dancing naked, and she'd be watching from the fishbowl, and then when they would get together, like he'd be pulled out to go on cleaning duty in some little area out of the view of everybody. There was one guy later on in the prison system who was notorious. He'd read The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, and every prison he went to, he would seduce a female guard, then they'd move him to another prison, and they'd just do it.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow, what a player!
Yeah.
He's got his skills down to a T. I mean, it's like there was loads of blokes trying. Every prisoner that I knew was trying to pull any female possible. Yeah. It's funny as well. Sometimes, say in education in Forest Bank, there was a couple of female staff, and there was a guy that I knew that really liked one of the female members of staff. Yeah. And I said, "Oh yeah, she's quite cute." And then he got really annoyed at me, like, "Back off, she's mine." They'd almost get territorial on who their crush was. And I was like, "That's fucking mental." It makes no sense whatsoever. You're in prison. She's completely doing a separate job. You're not in a relationship. Yeah. But occasionally that happened.
And what occasionally happened was a prisoner and a guard would get together, and then when the prisoner got out, and the guard would actually move in, they'd get together properly, or maybe she'd even quit a job to be with him, stuff like that.
That's insane. Yeah. Did they never get done for that though? Surely, because it's like safeguard.
All sex in prison, even masturbation, is illegal, and it's considered rape, even if it's consensual between a staff and a prisoner, or prisoner and a prisoner. It's all considered rape. Wow. With the staff, they're custodians, and you're considered like a ward of the state, and they're then taking advantage of what they're supposed to be protecting.
A position of power
That's the
and
law
authority.
in Arizona.
Yeah. Like, that makes sense. It's probably something similar here, I guess. But yeah, did you not get infatuated with any screws or try?
No. I had a girlfriend, and
did you have a girlfriend straight after?
She was arrested with me, but she got out because she wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
One of the things I did notice was prisoners were put in the shower. They'd like get a clear sandwich bag, pictures of girlfriends, put them up on the shower wall while they were, messing around themselves, looking at the pictures.
Did they leave them there for everyone? Or they take them with them?
No, took them with them.
Okay, I was going to say that's generous.
They wouldn't rent them out.
Yeah. That was the other thing I noticed. Like, you couldn't get porn inside. You couldn't get any really sexual content at all, which I think influenced the heightened sexual frustration of everyone. So it was like, you like tobacco and kind of dodgy goods. Porn would be smuggled in and then dealt round to people.
Yeah, there was no porn allowed in the remand jail, but once I got to the prison system, they did have porn mags in there. Oh. And one of the first things was when I got to my cell, a youngster come up to me with a stack of porn. I said, "Do you want any of these?" That was his hustle. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got in a cell by myself after I think it was 9 weeks or something of being inside after remanded under sentence and stuff.
Yeah.
And my God, I was happy to get in a cell by myself for that reason alone. Just a bit of personal time. Yeah. Because it was crazy otherwise.
I quite like being in a cell on my own. If I could play the system and get a cell on my own, I did.
Yeah. Did you because what it seemed for me, I progressed within one prison, you progress, and then you get a single cell.
Yeah.
And then you move to another prison, you get doubled up on induction and all that kind of stuff again.
Yeah.
And then eventually you progress to singles again. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like that throughout the prisons I was in. Was that roughly the same as well? Once you get trusted and stuff or get a decent job, do you get your own single cell as well?
No. In America, because it's a business model, they want to put as many people in a small space as possible.
Yeah.
So they can make the most money. But once you learn to play the system, you could kind of get away with it for a little bit of time. For example, say I had someone moved in with me I didn't like, and he was a smoker. I would go to my counsel and raise hell, I'm not a smoker, blah blah blah.
Yeah. And then there'd be a delay until they put someone else in.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just bask in that delay.
Yeah. And then the next time, just find some other problem with them and try and do the same thing again, or similar things.
I've been getting with the trustee who's working in the unit, and the guy who's in charge of movements, account movements.
Oh really?
You can wangle your own self a little bit, paying off the trustee as well.
Oh really? There's direct kind of bribes and stuff.
Well, the trustee, he's just a prisoner. He's open to.
Oh, I see.
He's open to bribery, yeah.
Oh, I see. The person who's controlling what cons go from one wing to another.
No, that would be his boss.
Oh, I see.
The trustee would be able to wangle.
Oh, I see. He's like the supervisor of how everyone's getting on and stuff. I see. Yeah.
But there was a point though, in the remand jail where I couldn't affect anything, where these Italian mafia guys got moved in with us, and they completely started running the whole of the jail. They could move anyone from any cell anywhere in the whole of the remand jail.
Whoa.
They were at night when all of us were locked down. The head Italian mafia guy was outside smoking with the guards, giving them orders.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I was about to ask, what level of corruption did you see? It's obviously a fucking Hughes degree.
It's corrupt to the core.
Wow.
Yeah.
I only got I got hints of corruption. So obviously there was a huge level of corruption going on in the American prisons, and I saw a little bit when I was in my time. But it's been really interesting. Thanks so much for that.
Really good.
Yeah, you're welcome. Subscribe to our channel.